Let's go ahead and get started. The time is now 6:01, and we're ready to begin the meeting for the Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Darrell Anderson.
Here.
John Sherfus.
Here.
Christopher Smith.
Here.
Jerry LeBeau. Dallas Smith.
Here.
Bahana Sudi. And Rhonda Connors. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
All right. Now, we've all received minutes from our previous meetings. And I hope you've had a chance to take a look at them. I would need to entertain a motion to approve.
Also moved that we approve it.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and second that we approve our meeting agenda. Our meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Mr. Baptiste, I don't have the agenda in front of me. Is this report time or communications?
Yeah, if the board, if Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, if the board don't mind, we have two guests here tonight, and I don't know if they want to sit through all this, but I would ask if you don't mind, we could move up number 4 guy. We have both Jim and I thought I saw Howard on here also. If you don't mind, under your
That's fine by me.
Yeah, and also Mr. Bernard's on the call, which is agenda item number 2. So.
Okay, and agenda item number 4 read to discuss for possible consideration approval of an economic incentive grant to Emerald Biofuel LLC. And can I get a motion and then we'll discuss that? Put it on the table.
Sure, or we can give a brief overview if the board, since only Reverend Anderson and Mr. Smith have heard, why don't we just I'll give a brief overview, and Floyd, you can get into the more details of your conversations with the Emerald Biofuel representative. But to the members of the board, through our friends at the Port of Port Arthur, we were advised of a possible project. The interesting part is it's a little different than anything the EDC has considered recently. The Emerald Biofuel project, which some of you may have heard about from news clips over the last months or a year or so, is a project that is proposed for construction at the GP Omniport site, which some of you are familiar with, some may not, but it is a facility that is the ARCO,
Yeah. Sinclair Copper, ARCO.
Yeah. And it is outside the city limits of Port Arthur, but in the city's ETJ. So the request that is before the board is for about $350,000 of incentive for acquisition of a real property interest at GP Logistics port site, and to pay for certain initial site work out there. And the supporting incentive, since we would not be receiving any sales tax or ad valorem tax base, would be entirely based upon the creation of temporary and or permanent jobs during a period after the Emerald Biofuel project ramps up in 2021 and then goes hot, as I would call it, about the third of in the third quarter or in the third or beginning fourth quarter next year, and then an incentive period running effectively for about 3+ years thereafter. Floyd can talk a little bit more, and George, about their discussions with Jim and the people at Emerald Biofuels, but the structure again would be one based entirely upon Port Arthur job creation and without an element of capital project improvements as we have in some of the other projects tonight. So Floyd, do you want to add, or George add more on y'all's side, and then let the Emerald Biofuel people speak? Because I know y'all have had a lot of conversations.
Yes, sir. I will say, Commissioner and board members, we started dealing with Howard probably 3-4 years ago, Howard, when you guys first brought the project to Southeast Texas. As guys stated, the project will be outside of the city limits of Port Arthur, but in the ETJ, which is at Omniport. In fact, I spoke to Steve Birtwell today, and he said, Floyd, he know this thing going to be a go. But what Emory have come to us is asking us to fill a gap. And we said to them, we don't fill gap. We provide economic incentive agreements with companies. They need $350,000 for the land to do the infrastructure work. So myself, Guy, Kate, and George, we've been on the phone back and forth with Emory and his team in how we could make this thing happen. So what we came up with is a backup. In fact, I provided you guys with some numbers over here.
Yeah.
If you have your backup in front of you, a backup into it. The access for $350,000. Normally, on the pre-employment for Port Arthur resident, we provide up to $6,500 per person to train them to get a job. Well, I back up into it. I look at the $350,000. I divided that into 356. I took 6,500 and divided into 350,000, and it came up with 54 Port Arthur residents that I'm going to ask Emerald to put to work and produce payroll for. And then I took that. I looked at Emory application, and I think within the application, Jim and Howard, y'all jump in if I'm incorrect. There was about 40 permanent jobs. Of those 40 permanent jobs, some of them was plant manager, plant supervisor. I excluded those jobs because I said the probability of us getting the Port Arthur resident there would not be good. I looked at the operation side of it, and I took 20% of that operation side, which equals to about 6 Port Arthur job, permanent job. That's on the operation side. And then to look at the difference between the 6 job, permanent jobs, and the 54 jobs, I end up with 48 construction jobs. And that was my first deal, that they produce 6 permanent Port Arthur jobs on the operations side, or 48 construction jobs on the construction side, which they would have to produce $4,200,000 in payroll for Port Arthur residents. Then we created a second option, because a lot of those permanent jobs are high technical jobs. I removed the technical job and I put it all in the construction job. And I said, instead of 48, I'm going to ask for 66, where they would have to produce $4.9 million. Now, since that, I have been dealing with Jim and also their EPC and looking at the wages that the craft people have, and Jim, thanks for providing me that information. I think that the average wage that we have in here is a little higher than what the EPC have given to me, and I have not finished. I think the payroll going to go down, but not that much. But anyway, what it ends up being is that they could put as many people as they want on the permanent jobs, but in the end, they're going to have to produce close to $4 to $5 million in payroll for Port Arthur residents. And the first year's construction year, the hiring, I think Jim Howard to start the second year and the third year, the payroll gonna have to be produced. So it's gonna be a 4-year contract. Yeah. We have discussed that anything that this board provides them have to be collateralized. And I would ask Guy and Kate to talk about the collateral because it's above my pay grade.
Well, first of all, I guess the board may want to ask any question about the basic proposal that we're going forward with. And again, we haven't papered this deal, and obviously we haven't gone forward to draft an incentive agreement because that requires the board to take some action to direct Kate and some help from me to work with George and Crystal and Lloyd to put together that incentive. But again, I think if the board has questions about letting us proceed, we need to know if there's an issue, understanding that we're going to be basing whatever milestones and performance requirements of the incentive recipient entirely on the basis of temporary jobs and perhaps some permanent Port Arthur jobs at this facility.
I have a
Guy,
question.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay. Since this doesn't lie within the taxing district of Port Arthur city limits, I mean, we can do that. I mean, by our charter, we can actually give incentives even if it's not in the city limits of Port Arthur.
Yes, sir. In fact, the Development Act provides that you can provide economic incentives outside your city and even in another entity's jurisdiction with their consent. Here, you're not looking at another entity. The port is supporting this deal. The county does not have an economic development corporation, nor do any of the other local jurisdictions. So as far as we have determined, there's not another jurisdiction that would have authority to do economic development projects out there without the city of Port Arthur's consent. The city of Port Arthur has its own EDC, so they can do projects in the EDC. Again, where it becomes an issue, and I don't want to get way off the track, is when an EDC wants to do a project completely in another entity's ETJ. Another boundaries or their ETJ. That's not an issue here. Yes, you would have the authority, obviously, with the board's approval, with the city of Port Arthur's approval, to proceed with an economic incentive because this would be tied to a performance agreement, which again is required by the Development Act. And for one of the criteria that the city of Port Arthur has given to you all as an acceptable basis for an economic incentive, and that is the creation over a period of time of payroll to Port Arthur residents. And as Floyd, George, Crystal are very good about, this would be not PO boxes. This is physical address only that people are going to have to verify. And by the way, we have also talked to Emerald Biofuel representatives that are on the phone who understand that if they fail to meet these requirements, that there is a clawback against their collateral or the incentive recipient.
Gotcha.
Commissioners, before we go forward, I have Howard and Jim on. You guys want to kind of tell the commissioners what your project is about? Howard, Jim?
I think some of them are still muted.
Howard, can you hear us?
Hi, this is Jim. Sorry, took me a couple minutes to hit the unmute buttons.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm Jim Backlowski at Emerald Biofuels, and good evening, everybody. And thank you very much for your consideration of this economic incentive. The reason and Howard is not on, unfortunately. So I'll
Kevin
be
is. Oh, go ahead.
So I'll be the spokesman, I guess, tonight. But Howard met with Floyd some time ago, and they have talked about this project for a couple of years. So in a nutshell, we are trying to build a very small refinery. By your standards in Port Arthur, this thing is tiny. It's about 100 million gallons a year, and we're going to make diesel fuel, ultra low sulfur diesel fuel, but it's instead of being made from crude oil like your Motiva or Total or your neighbors there, we would be making this out of waste products, agricultural waste products, and that's why they call it renewable diesel. And the concept here is that it produces much less pollution, and therefore it's favorably viewed in the United States as a good thing to reduce carbon footprint. So we've been working on this for a long time. We are not a big group. We are not Exxon. We are very close to the finish line, but we have some outstanding expenses that we need to pay. They're all related to development. They're related to maintaining the option we have on the site there at GT Omniport. We have expenses associated with surveying that we're paying South Tech. We have some expenses that we may incur for geotech analysis on the property. It's those kinds of expenses that, frankly, we're short on funds, and we need those monies in order to get to the financial closing. And that $350,000 will carry us to the financial closing. So that's really the reason for the request. Howard called Floyd and they chatted about it. And Floyd said this was something that, you could consider, understanding that the goal here would be for us to create jobs, which, by the way, we're happy to do. We understand that. That's been our intent. Our EPC contractor, Phoenix, I've talked directly to them. They think that by all means, they're absolutely certain they can generate construction jobs for Port Arthur residents. They understand it needs to be Port Arthur residents. They get it. And, I'd say the 66 construction jobs is, it's a pretty big number. That's probably more than 25% of our entire construction force. But we will, do our very best to create those jobs. To the extent we fall short, we understand clearly that we need to repay the portion of the $350,000 where we fell short. We understand that, and we can live with that. I think the really important thing here is let's get to the finish line so we can create some jobs and get this project off the ground. That's the plan. So that's the overview. If you have any questions, I can answer questions.
I got a question, Jim. Are there plants like this in production around the country?
Yes, there are. There's Valero and has a unit called Diamond Green Diesel. It's on the Mississippi River, and it's been producing renewable diesel for some time. It uses the same technology we use, which is UOP Honeywell technology. There's another one in California called Alt Air that has been up and running for quite some time. And there are 2 units in Italy also using the Honeywell technology. So I believe there are 4 units at commercial scale up and running for many years. And you guys may have heard that Valero and Darling, that's a joint venture, they're actually planning to expand right in Port Arthur at the Valero site. They are going to create another 200 or 300 gallons of renewable diesel. So yes, this is proven technology.
Right. Sounds good to me.
I got a question. When you're up and running and those construction jobs go away, about how many employees that you're going to use to run that operation?
Okay, the estimate right now is 40. 40 employees. That'll be, this is a 24-hour operation. So that will be spread out over 3 shifts or 4 shifts, depending on what we determine is the right approach. But about 40 jobs,
Permanent.
permanent.
Will any of them be from Port Arthur people?
Well, I mean, we would certainly try. I mean, that's the whole idea here. Some of these jobs are fairly specialized. When I say that, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with refinery operations, but a board operator, this is the guy that sits in a control room at a series of many monitors. And he's actually a highly trained engineer that's also an operations guy, and he is running and monitoring the process. He's watching all the valves, all the temperatures, all the chemistry. Those are highly technical jobs. But then we will also have maintenance jobs, which I would think would be a good fit. And there will be, not all the jobs will be in the control room. Some of them are going to be, out in the field in the refinery. So I would think, those field jobs and maintenance jobs would be a good fit.
Yeah, I will say that, with the timeline that these guys, that Jim and them are talking about, and the timeline of Lamar Institute, Lamar State College Port Arthur training facility, that we're going to get Jim and Emerald to partner with Lamar and see exactly how many of these Port Arthur residents that we could get out of that. We're going to make every effort to put Port Arthur first. And I think, based upon the conversation that I've had with both Jim and Howard, I think they are truly committed. I think Jim, as Jim mentioned earlier, he did reach out to his EPC, and which is Phoenix, and made them aware of their commitment. And we have been communicating, well, through Jim, we have been communicating with the EPC pretty regularly. And, I think it may be a good partnership.
Yeah, I can elaborate on that. I mean, I actually talked to, the top guy over there at Phoenix, and I explained to him what we're doing here. And he said, no, he said, I understand. He said, I get it, Jim. And we can get some jobs for you here. He said, I can make that happen. He said, no, I'll work with you. And again, just so you know, I mean, it was really through Howard, and I apologize, Howard's not on the phone because he's a little bit better versed in this than I am. But he's been working with Jefferson County, and frankly, this has been our plan all along anyhow. I mean, really what you're asking us to do here is what we were planning to do, which is to try to work with our EPC contractor and also the operator. We're subcontracting with Fluor to be the contractor for operations and maintenance, and they're fully aware. I mean, it's actually in our contracts with Fluor and with Phoenix that we anticipate and expect their cooperation to create local jobs. They've already agreed to that. That's already the plan. So, everybody's on board. Nobody's resisting this. This is the plan.
I think the other thing I want to add to this, Commissioner, that if they don't meet those commitments, there is a clawback.
Yes.
And I'm going to let Guy deal with the clawback.
Well, and some of y'all recall, we've done a couple of projects. We've done any number of projects that have performance milestones, and they always have a clawback. They always have a provision that is written into the contract for the earning of credits on a period during the entire period of the incentive agreement. And at least at this point, board members the proposal for presentation to you all of an incentive agreement at the January meeting would be for an annual true-up, as I call it, of certified payroll records and matched against the amount that was to be earned over that time period. And again, we've talked about a total payroll period, but Jim and Floyd and George in their conversations, Kate may have been and Crystal in those as well, understand that it's not, it will be built on what there's a determination of when these payrolls will be undertaken beginning in 2021, 2022, and they may not be equal every year. There's going to be some wording in there to provide for trying to match the incentive credits with the time period in which payroll is actually created. In other words, give everybody the opportunity for success, but be able to have the clawback if it's not met. So that would be done, and there would be a clawback if and some on either an annual basis or an end of project basis there was not project payroll satisfied. The only other unusual thing about this one that we can talk about, but we're going to wait till January to see how this flows out, is that we told them that our historic requirement for projects where we know there will be a lien on equipment and materials, and we're not really interested in taking a lien on special equipment. Probably it'll be subject to equity and debt owner rights preference to us anyway, is for a letter of credit. The particular lending institution that Jim and them are working with kind of does their letter of credits in $1 million installments. Well, clearly we're not asking for $1 million in letter of credit. They would prefer not to pay the premium or on $1 million letter of credit each year through the time period, and even as it's reduced. So they're going to at least present to you all for consideration what is referred to as a capital call agreement. We will have to review this and determine if we're satisfied that it would give adequate collateralization to the EDC, but a capital call agreement, as I call it, and they're much more complicated than this, is an agreement by which the equity owners in the business are required to put in additional capital to fund if there is a shortfall in the performance milestones. That's a real oversimplification of something that will be a much more complicated document. But again, we told them that the jury was out on that until we could see. They understand our traditional method of securitization and the collateral would be a letter of credit, and that they'll have to convince us, and that's me and Kate, along with George and Floyd, of course, that we're satisfied that the board and the EDC would be adequately securitized with the other alternate security documents. So that's still a work in progress. That doesn't mean you can't proceed with action tonight, but we will bring that back to you as well. We hope by your meeting in January, which again, I guess, Floyd, it's not the Monday after the 4th. It's that Tuesday of what will be like the 12th, as I recall, correct?
Right.
Because the annual meeting in January is that different date, the second Tuesday of the month, not the first Monday of the month. So happy to answer any other questions.
Any other questions from the board members? Mr. Chairman, I ask if you make a motion, make a motion and make a decision. You want to move forward with this thing?
I'd be glad to make a motion that we move forward to pursue this legal agreement with these people if everything works out properly.
We need a second.
This is Chris. I'll second it.
Okay, there was a motion to move forward in a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carried. Thank you, Jim. we'll be getting back in touch. I think Guy still waiting on your lawyers to send a copy of that.
Yeah, we'll, Kate and Crystal and George and everybody will get working on the incentive agreement, and then we'll happily look at the proposed collateral when it comes in, Mr. President.
So if you could get your lawyer to send Guy and Kate a copy of that capital, whatever y'all call that thing.
Capital call agreement.
Capital call agreement, that could speed up the process, Jim.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We very much appreciate your support. And, we do absolutely recognize that, there's still work to be done here to, come to agreement and, review the capital agreement or the letter of credit. And so we understand this is, subject to further review and final documentation, but we very much appreciate your support at this point. Hopefully we can make this work. So thank you very much. And I guess with that, I'll sign off and let you get back to business.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, I wanted to also note, I think Mr. Nard is on, which was item 2. I think there may be a couple of the people interested in the incentive agreements that are on, if you wish to take those as well out of order.
Yes, sir.
Yes, let's take them out of order. That's fine.
Okay. I like to deal with number 7. I have Reverend Reynolds and Mark. It's to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Sharina Holmes.
Sharina Holmes.
Sharina Holmes. Thank you, Rev.
Okay.
They have come to us, and in your package, you gave a letter of intent. I think they looking at the property on Reverend Ransom Howard Street. They would like to build a manufacturing facility that build homes,
Container homes.
And also a second facility that manufacture clothes. Mark or Rev, can y'all kind of tell the board what you guys trying to do over there?
Okay, Mark.
Yes, thank you to the board. I want to first of all say thank you for the opportunity. What we have is to develop a manufacturing facility, and we are committed to using Port Arthur residents in that manufacturing facility. We're looking at 45 to 65 residences, and using actually 2 shifts. We will actually take containers that are used for shipping, and we would actually take those and outfit them to be organized for 3, 2, and 1 bedroom units. We're also putting a application to do emergency homes for the GLO in case of flooding and people needing to have homes. We put that application in. The owner is Beverly Williams. She is actually a certified PE in the state of Texas, actually Louisiana, Tennessee. And she currently, her and Pastor Reynolds, they're looking to partner so that they could actually build homes for the residents of Port Arthur. We're looking to get funding in the amount of $500,000 and meeting the necessary requirements, income requirements. We have an average. We're expecting an average of $45,000 per job, and yes, we're going to have shift jobs, and they'll be located various income levels. But they will be available to the city of Port Arthur residences, and we will have other professional jobs as well. The partnership with Pastor Reynolds and Hellbig includes a situation where we can generate 100 homes a year for the first 2 years to handle revenue inflows. and that will also put in position these individuals to purchase these homes that we would have for workforce housing. So we are actually looking at actually building that. On the second piece of that, there will be a manufacturing operation. They currently have a location in Houston, Texas. They're willing to locate here to help in facilitating economic development in the corridor, in which we want to, locate these.
And that second business is what, Mark? I don't think the board heard.
I lost him.
Mark? He's muted.
Okay. The second business is to do a clothing manufacturer, also on that same property on West Reverend Howard Street.
Yeah. And I will make the board aware that tomorrow council will meet. I have met with the city manager and city attorney and various people in the city department about the plan, the zoning, and also, as you guys know, EDC own most of the frontage, and the city and EDC own the backside of the property that faces 6th Street. And the property we're talking about is from Denbo to Grannis, from 7th Street to 6th Street. I spoke to Rev, I think yesterday or one day during the week. There is about 3 or 4 lots that is privately owned, and they're gonna have to deal with that individually. But the majority of the property is owned by the city and EDC. Back in 2016, 2017, we did do an appraisal of that property. We probably will have to do another appraisal, but the council will be discussing the property tomorrow also. But this is strictly a letter of intent. Any questions? I think totally based upon the application of Rev and Mark, there was approximately about 93 jobs that was going to be created if this project get off the ground, averaging around $45,000.
Correct.
That is correct.
And most of these jobs are semi-skilled, low-skilled jobs. Am I correct in saying that, Mark, Rev?
I would say they're more skilled because they're going to be assembling various aspects of the housing, which would include electrical, some plumbing, and things of that nature. So there'll be some skilled positions there. There'll be a lot of skilled positions.
Yes, sir.
In addition to that, we're going to also partner with Lamar to do the technical training for those that will be coming on board. And our goal, our objective is to have as many, if not all, Port Arthur residents.
Commissioner, I see Miss Williams just jump on or trying to get on. She's the principal. If there's anything, Miss Williams, you would like to say before this board move on, or you have the floor.
I don't can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody, and I apologize for being a little late. We're just excited about the project that we have. We're excited about coming into Port Arthur, and we hope that we can be of good service to your community, and vice versa. So you all can go ahead. I don't really have a whole lot to say.
Is there any question from the board members? Mr. Chairman, I will ask that you guys take action on number 7. I need a motion and a second.
And this is just to proceed. We haven't developed the incentive yet.
Right, that's correct. Just a motion
Thank
to
you.
move forward.
All right, may we have a motion, please?
I make a motion.
And I second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we move forward with this incentive agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Then we have someone else on the line as well. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Thank y'all
Yo.
very much, Mark, Miss Williams, and Reverend Reynolds. Thank y'all
We want
very
to
much.
say
Thank you.
I'll be getting in touch with you.
thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
All
All
right.
right. Mr. Chairman, we have, let me go back.
Mr. Menard.
Mr. Menard.
On
Yes,
item two, sir.
number two, to discuss for possible consideration approval of a terms and condition to enter into an economic incentive agreement with Nature's Industrial Service LLC. Let me put, I was trying to look, yeah, the Rev left, yeah. Okay, just board member. Okay, in your packet, we did work the numbers on this project. I'm just trying to pull it. Yes, sir. And first thing, I want to thank Jana for running the numbers for us and getting this thing to this board in a timely manner. After receiving the financials, George, let me go back. George and I did meet with Mr. Menard. I think he has a very good project. And I personally spoke to Mr. Menard, I think it was last week, Thursday or Friday last week. Mr. Menard was back in business. You want to tell him about your business, Mr. Menard?
Rob,
Yes, sir. Can you tell him about what you're trying to get done?
okay, I own a construction company called Rifco. I started in April of 2002, and it was a viable business. We were over in Orange County, and all the way up until 2017, when I took on some investors and to help the company grow. I was kind of at a standpoint. And we were in business for about until February the 28th of 19, and then they decided to pull out. I'd sold controlling interest to them, and they liquidated the company. So I have an opportunity to bring that back around in a new business structure. It's a construction company. We do scaffolding, insulation, fireproofing, refractory, soft trade services out in the refineries and with the general contractors. And so this is, I've turned to you guys because I want to bring it here to the Port Arthur sector. This is where I live. This is where my business needs to be. I've had a lot of my existing clients over 15 years of business and has asked me if I considered going back into business, and I have. And so I'm reaching out to you guys to help me get this thing going.
Thank you very much, Mr. Menard. As I said, as Mr. Menard just stated, you know, he was in business for many years, back in 2000, and he got some investors in here in 17. And I think from what I got from you, Mr. Menard, you sold half of the business to them, and then in 2019, you sold the remaining half, right? Is that right?
Yes, sir. I sold them 51% of the business to invest into it. And then in 2019, I sold them the remaining interest.
Yes, sir. Okay. And based upon the financials, we collected both Mr. Menard's personal financials, which looked okay. We were very happy with the personal financial. Jana helped me out on this thing. But one of our concern was we wanted to look at the finance when he was in business. and we pulled those financials when he was in business. And I think the second year he had about an 8% increase. His business increased by 8% the first year. Then the second year, it looked like it just fell off the bottom, and we saw a 95% loss in revenue. And I did call Mr. Menard about that, and that's when he started talking about the partnership and what happened with the partnership. I think right now I would like to do some little more research on this, Mr. Menard, and then come back to the board in January. I have not, I told you I was going to get back with you. I have not done any work on what happened to that 95, why all of a sudden you had a 95%. When you had an 8%, you went down, what was 95%, Jana? Jana?
Yes, sir. But it appears that a lot of that was tied to the sale of the remainder of that business to the partners. So, Mr. Menard, if you have some time tomorrow, I'd like to call and ask you some questions, because I can tell from your previous financials and also from your personal financials that you were quite successful. But something happened when you sold half of the business. You still maintained, you still had an increase in sales of between 6 and 8% for some years. And then something happened right there. And I'd like to talk to you tomorrow if you're available so that we can provide that to the board.
Be available. I would be glad to, I can show you proof, explanations, whatever you need to clarify this.
Sure. Sometime like before lunch, I'll give you a call.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You give me a call and we'll discuss. I greatly appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask the board, Mr. Menard, is that they would table this until our next January meeting, and then we'll come back and see what the board makes, see what decision the board going to make.
All one place.
Mr. Chairman, I ask if you guys table this until the next board meeting.
Does that require
Yeah.
a motion?
I don't think it requires a motion to table it, does it, Don?
Well, since this was on for an action item, I'm perfectly happy if y'all want to go ahead and move to just defer the matter to the January meeting by board action.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just move it to our January meeting.
Okay.
We need a motion to table.
He said that we didn't.
No action was taken, and Mr. Baptiste has asked for more time, so I don't think you need anything except to note that the staff has asked that this matter be moved from this agenda to the January agenda.
Okay, that'd be fine. Mr. Menard, we'll be getting back with you tomorrow. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Way back to the top.
Okay, I think those are all the one that we want to take out of sequence, Mr. Chairman. We could start with the reports.
Sounds great with me.
Boy, did you want to talk about the communications? I don't think we got to that either.
Oh, I'm sorry, communication. I forgot that one, huh? Thank you, Guy. In your packet, you had a 2021, Joni prepared the 2021 EDC board meeting schedule. And if you notice, your next board meeting, which is on January, is the schedule, what they call annual meeting, which is by your bylaws is on the second Tuesday of the year. So that's going to be on Tuesday, January the 12th. And what we're going to actually do is hold your regular meeting and your annual meet on that same day. So you won't have to meet Monday and Tuesday. And the rest of the schedule is back first Monday of each month. Any question on that one? Okay, the second thing you guys have under your communication is the economic breakfast forecast, which is January 13th. If any one of you guys wish to be in attendance, please contact Joni and we'll try to get individual. Report will be given by the renowned Dr. Perriman, and the county judges of Jefferson, Orange, and Hardin County will also be talking to us about the economy of Southeast Texas. And the last one is the Greater Port Arthur Chamber of Commerce annual banquet, which is on the January the 28th. Again, I think, don't quote me here, but Joni, Crystal, do we normally get a table or do we do individual for the annual banquet? Do you remember, Carl?
I believe we usually do a table on this one.
We usually get a table, you said?
Yes, we usually get a table, Mr. Beck.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. If that's the wishes of the board, you know, this is the 28th of January. You know, this being 2020, do you want to get a table or you want to get individual tickets? Because, you know, a lot of folks just may not want to attend, especially at this time. Whatever you guys decide.
Do anyone of the board members already know if you're going to want to attend this banquet?
No, I'm not.
I'm sure I will.
So that was one person that's certain that they are going to attend.
Right. So far.
And Commissioner, you know, if there's others, you know, I think it would be in our best interest that we do individual, and each one that want to go, just let Joni know, and we'll get a ticket for you.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough of us to do to warrant doing a table.
Yes. So those are all the communication I have.
Thank you so much.
Again, let me just say, if you want to attend the breakfast or the chamber banquet, just let Joni know. Those dates are real close by. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Baptiste, for carrying the meeting for me. I really appreciate that. I'm riding down the road. My son is driving now, so I'm good. So we're ready for our reports. First, we have the workforce development report.
Yes, good evening. I'm going to start off with the CDL program. Currently, we have 8 people that are waiting to start the program. Year to date, 10 have completed. I did make a call with some of the students that actually completed the program, and most of them are working. I will say that one is currently employed at Dr. Cooper, and he is looking for a better opportunity and a way to work in the Port Arthur community. So I did take his information down. So if anything comes across my desk or if anything we're working on goes with what he's looking for, we can hopefully get him employed in Port Arthur. I will say that our CDL program is a hot commodity. A lot of people are very interested. I've been getting a lot of phone calls. Of course, right now they are admitting people for January for the new year. So classes will cease once this month. Also, our CNA program, we have a lot. If you look at the report that's enclosed, I don't want to call everybody's name out, but we have a lot of people that are actually a part of that CNA program. I will say that we have a couple that are scheduled for the written part of the exam. We actually have one that's going tomorrow to sit for her written exam. We have 4 that are waiting on an email confirmation to also go and start their exam. Also, those that are working at Magnolia Manor, they actually will have to test by January 1st, 2021, or they will be taken off the schedule. So you just kind of like look back at what I've actually put into my report. You can kind of verify from there. Also, the Police Academy Cadet Program, Once again, we have one student that is currently enrolled in that particular program. We also have one student that's enrolled through a GI Bill. We also have a new program director at the Lamar Institute of Technology in Beaumont. His name is Mr. Bush. I've been talking with him. He told me that we have one candidate for spring 2021 that has completed all the tasks, including the psych evaluation and the physical. 4 total candidates are up to enter the program for spring 2021. Date modification, we'll talk about that later, but I did put that they have a date modification. We'll talk about that. It's actually on the agenda, but that concludes my report for tonight. If you guys have any questions, just please let me know.
Any questions for Renata? All right. Thank you for your report. All right. Our next report is a program compliance report.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Good evening, board. I'll go ahead and start with we submitted an application for IEDC's Economic Recovery COVID-19 Technical Assistance Program. They received funding from the EDA to provide technical assistance to their members. We are a member of IEDC, so we did apply for some technical assistance from them. And we're requesting their assistance in identifying resources for the local small businesses that were impacted by COVID-19. So hopefully we'll be able to utilize some of their technical assistance in that area to be able to assist our small businesses a little bit better that have been impacted by COVID-19. Okay, I'll move on to our current projects. Vessel repair. They have a new dry dock and transfer system that is in operation. They've sent over a nice article that's come out in several media outlets that highlighted them, and that is attached to the report that you received tonight. Walk-ons, which is INC Entertainment. You all remember them as the Walk-ons project going on Jimmy Johnson Boulevard. Their letter of credit has been received. They will be receiving their first payout for their incentive agreement. They do have a soft opening planned. I was hoping to get that date for you. You may have received it already. I have not seen it, but they are supposed to send that to you all as well, so that you all can attend their soft opening that they have planned. Real Noodle LLC, which is the soul food Korean barbecue. That has been approved by council. You'll remember that one came before you guys about 2 months ago. They are working with the bank now to acquire their letter of credit. No funds have been distributed, but as soon as we do receive that letter of credit, then we'll go ahead and fund the infrastructure portion of their agreement. Port Arthur Development Group, which is the old Market Basket project. They have turned in both certificates of occupancy for their project. I will be going to verify their infrastructure improvements tomorrow. And once that is verified, I have both of their COs. We can go ahead and close out their contract and provide them with all 3 payouts. So that moved along very quickly, and they should be eligible to go ahead and close out next month. Our 501 Proctor property, we closed the LoopNet advertisement for Suite 205, which is the latest build out lease with Par 5 that is on your agenda for tonight as well. They have executed their portion and will ratify that hopefully tonight. The lease agreement with Fitz and Shipman for Suite 323 has been executed. They've taken control of their suite as of December 1. So that means the entire building is now occupied. So we are at full capacity, which is really exciting. And also in your agenda packet, you'll see a picture there of the 6 by 8 feet picture panels that were for the entry of the building, of the press building. They were brought to our building. We have them stored in our building. They look really great. So we're excited to see those whenever the building is up and running. And that concludes my report. If anybody has any questions.
I just got a comment about that Mexican grocery store and restaurant. I stopped in there the other day. I haven't been coming from another place, and they did a first class job on that. Have y'all been in there? Where they got where Arif did that, the guy opened up a grocery store and restaurant over there at that property on Twin City and Gulfway. It's really
So
nice.
far, I've seen pictures and it looks really nice, but
Well,
I'll be making a visit tomorrow.
It's first class. It's bright. They were doing a lot of business. Have a bakery, a meat market, everything in there. I was impressed with the operation there. Very pretty.
Yeah, I'm glad to see an eyesore back up and running.
Oh, it is definitely pretty. He's got a buffet, Mexican food buffet. You go by and tell them what you want. That's pretty neat. I'll eat there.
Is that why you went there, John?
I didn't eat there. I haven't been coming back from another place down the road, and I was with my wife, and I said, let's stop in there. We funded some of that project. Let's take a look at what he got there. And boy, it was bright and pretty and all decorated. It's pretty neat.
Very good.
Yeah.
Hope they are successful.
Oh yeah, I think it will be.
All right. Thank you, Crystal, for the report. Now we'll have our financial report.
Good evening, board. First, I want to let you know that I just returned back today from a 2-week vacation, and I would like to thank Mr. Baptiste for preparing the numbers for tonight's meeting. I'm going to go ahead and start trying to. You don't have any graphs tonight, and I apologize for that. We'll get back to getting those graphs to you guys on the next board meeting. I would like to start with the revenue unaudited that we projected for fiscal year 2020, and then move to the actual numbers from as of November of 20, and then also give you the unrealized revenue for the fiscal year 2020. So in sales tax, we have projected $4,400,000 in revenue. As of November 2020, we have $746,178, leaving an unrealized balance for fiscal year 2020 of $3,653,822. We estimated the interest revenue at $75,000. Our actual as of November is $13,538, leaving unrealized revenue of $61,462. Loan repayment, we estimated $47,651. As of November, we have $17,151, leaving an unrealized balance of $40,500. Rental income, we estimated $144,548. As of November, we have collected $8,606, leaving an unrealized revenue of $135,942. We estimated $70,715 for business park assessment fees. As of November, we collected $3,000 of that, leaving an unrealized balance of $67,715. I will tell you that today we received quite a few checks from the tenants out at the business park, so we should have a really good balance to report to you next month. Moving on to land sales, we have not sold any land as of November. Land lease, we estimated $10,800, and as of November, we have collected $1,800, leaving an unrealized revenue of $9,000. Miscellaneous has no projection, but we've actually have $35, and that leaves us with our projected revenue cost of $5,046,214. Of that amount, as of November, we have collected $790,309, leaving us an unrealized revenue of $4,255,906. Our expenditures for this month under our personnel services, $153,794. Under our supplies, $3,847. Under maintenance, $5,352. Contractual service, $596,363. Giving us a total expenditure as of November the 20th of $759,356. You can find that amount on the sheet here that we give to you every month. And if you just look under the total cost for the revenue, the expenditures, and you'll see that number. We have a debt service of $866,000. I'm sorry, I'm back up one. I went down a little bit too much. We have an excess of revenue of $4,286,858. We have a debt service of $866,533. Of that, we have set aside $155,545 as of November. That gives a net change in fund balance of $3,420,325. Our fund balance as estimated for the beginning of the year was $4,501,694, which give us a fund balance at the end of the year as of November 2020 of $7,922,019. We have collected so far in the sales tax revenue I gave to you, $746,178. All the other breakdowns are is in your report. And I apologize, I'm a little kind of off today. I did a lot of catching up on some other things that for the 2 weeks that I was out. So I tried to get this report together with the numbers that was presented to you guys on Friday. If you have any questions, please call me. I'll be available all day tomorrow, and I'll be in the office the rest of the week. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Rachel, for your report.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Rachel.
Yes, sir.
I think we need to explain to them the deficit on the contingency. You want to tell them what's going on there?
Yeah, we kind of touched bases on that a little bit last month, letting you know that we have some items that was not budgeted from the 549 building. And we have, so far, we're going to meet with Candy still this month. We have, this is December the 7th, and we said by the end of December, we would touch bases with her because we're going to end up doing a budget adjustment for the amount that we did not budget for 549 Proctor Street. That deficit will go away. It just might take us up until probably January or February for you guys see it on the reports and in the numbers.
Mm-hmm. And just to follow up with what Rachel said, what happened if you look at last year, 2019-20, if you look at the contingency, we had $274,000. We had about $216,000 that was still in that budget that we had budgeted for the elevator. Well, the second elevator is now in your phase 2 of your 501. That money was still there. So what we're going to do is take that money and bring it back over to this year. That's why you see that deficit. Right, Rachel?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
Can you explain that one more time?
Okay, last year we had moved money for the second elevator. Recall that, which was $170,000. Well, when we went back and negotiated with the contractor put the cost of the second elevator into his what you call it, contract guy?
Yeah.
So yeah, so when we budget for his contract, that money that we had budgeted last year was still out there. So all we're doing is taking that money that you budgeted and did not use and bringing it back over.
And it's under the same job order contracting agreement as a separate scope of work to the additional work on the white box space.
Yes, sir. This, Mr. Smith, you guys approved $1.6 million for phase 2 of the 501. Well, in that $1.6 million, the $170,000 for the elevator is included.
Yes, sir.
That's why we're taking
Yes.
that money from last year that we had budgeted for that elevator and just moving it over.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
just
makes sense?
just 2 work orders outlining the different particular work. We thought that would be the easiest paper trail for everyone to see. So the job order contracting is going to have the white box work delineated, and then separately the second elevator.
All right.
And the other thing I want to say to the board, Rachel erred in saying adjustment. It will be a budget amendment.
Amendment. Yes, sir, I did.
And we'll be coming back to you guys with that new budget.
Any other questions or clarity that needs to be made about the financial report?
I think we're doing a good job with our finance.
Again, thank you so much, Rachel, and those that helped carry the torch while she was on vacation. I love vacation time myself. It takes a little bit to get get back on your feet once you come off vacation, but I know how it goes. So we thank you for your effort on tonight. Our next report is a community and business center report.
Good evening, board. Not going to keep you long tonight. I was pretty detailed in my report, but just wanted to touch on a few things. I don't know if you guys have been by to see the building lately, but things are progressing faster than they have been in previous months, just like we thought they would. The contractors are working on the plumbing, electrical, the elevator shaft. It has gone in, or it is going in as we speak. I think Mr. Baptiste got some pictures of that to you guys. We are working with DataVox, which is our co-op contractor, on all of the audio visual cabling, security, access, camera system. We wanted to do it a one-stop shop. And because they are a co-op vendor, we don't have to go out for bids. And for example, that's how we handled the furniture purchase. And because they have that agreement with municipalities, instead of spending almost $700,000 on furniture, we got the same furniture for about $249,000. So this vendor will be able to provide their services at quite a bit, about a 65% discount, because they are a co-op vendor. They are working diligently. Alum is getting them the final drawings that they need for the phase 2 of the project, so that they can slide right in where they need to in the construction schedule. And we don't have to retrofit. Everything will be done prior to completion of the construction. Also with the parking lot, we're working with Commissioner Michael Shane Senegal to get the county to deed over to us the parcel of land that we need to complete our parking lot. Instead of rebuilding the entire thing, we're going to make what exists look good and move some things around and add a few more spaces to that. So I have been in touch with the county judge's assistant, and he's working to see where the city stopped in that process, because we'll be able to pick up where they stopped off, because obviously, or what I believe is that the police department tried to get this property before, so that the process has already begun. The city engineers are already aware of what Mr. Baptiste is requesting, so that they can move expeditiously to have parking available for the Lamar students when they arrive in April. Other than that, things are going good. We're still working on our small business roadmaps program. Of course, with COVID going on, every time we get ready to get started, we don't want people in and out of the office. So I am in touch with 2 businesses that have expressed interest on us teaching them how to actually, formalize their business. And so I speak with them a couple of times a week. And we're looking forward to hopefully this vaccination and getting past the COVID process, so that we can really ramp up building our entrepreneur network downtown.
I think what I want to add to that, Jana, let the board know that we did meet with the city emergency command center, with Lamar
Oh,
State
yes.
College,
Mhm.
and with the technical folks, and everybody had their input into what they need into their space.
Right.
You want to tell them about that?
Yes, so we actually did a conference call with Lamar Port Arthur and with the Emergency Operations Center so that they could tell DataVox exactly what they need. And of course, with DataVox being the subject matter experts, they're going to tell us how to achieve exactly what each entity is asking for. And basically what we want to make sure is that we're secure, that the students are secure, from outside of the building, inside of the building, in the corridors, in the classrooms. And so Lamar's IT guy got with them so that the students at our building don't have to have a separate password or a separate login system. It will flow cohesively with what Lamar has down, down the street. So everybody was excited about that. And we're moving forward. I did speak with Whitney at DataVox and with Alum today. So they're working together, the engineer and the co-op vendor, so that we can be done on time.
And what's that time frame again?
The students' first day of school, I believe, is August 23rd. So we're telling everybody that we need the building complete end of April, early May, so that everybody has time to do what they need to do. And so far, the contractors are saying that they won't have a problem meeting those deadlines. And with hurricane season being over, hopefully that's the case.
Any other questions for Jana?
I think the other thing we need to let the board know, and I try to give you guys as much information as I have. What Jana and George been doing, especially on the parking lot. Currently, you guys know, directly across from the police station, there's that parking lot. And what they're looking at doing is dividing that parking lot into, George, you want to tell them what's going on?
Yes, sir. The original parking lot that the police and the fire admin park in, what we're trying to propose is that we take the half that's closer to Waco, since that'll be catty corner across from our building. And if we do that, we can also purchase this strip of land that only has a fuel station toward the backside of that parking lot and add a couple of more rows. So if we can pull it off, we'll basically have a parking lot with about 90 spaces for individuals that utilize our building. We, like Jana and Mr. Baptiste said, we spoke with the city engineers, and by doing so, and we spoke with Chief Duraso. He said he's okay with it. But by doing so, we won't really interfere with them, because they'll still have their half, and then they'll add the additional parking lot in the back and have total usage of that one.
So let me ask you, is that going to be enough parking?
90 spaces?
Yeah.
Well, what we having is the 90 spaces in the parking lot, and then you still have, if people want to park along Waco, kind of like by the courthouse on the side of the street, and then Commissioner Senegal even showed me another, like a parking lot that's on their property. He said he thinks there's more than enough parking around there. But as far as a parking lot goes, I think 90 will do. Because you're only looking at what, maybe 30 students, and I know every one of them probably won't drive. They might ride with each other, and then we'll just have each business owner or whatever, that if you're coming inside for your regular office space upstairs, or even a co-work, I don't think we'll need much more than that.
Any other questions? Anything else we need to add to this report?
I got one other question. How many employees that you plan on hiring for that building?
Currently, we only have one employee. That's hard for the building. There has been some discussion in the office that we're gonna have to share some responsibility with that one person until we are able to hire additional people. Right now, there's only one person, but I think between George and Crystal, they're gonna have some time over there also.
You're not gonna hire any maintenance people?
Yeah, that's all gonna be contracted out, yes, sir. But it won't be for us. It'll be contracted. And it's cheaper that way because we don't have to pay the benefit to that person. Similar to what we have at 501 right now.
Also, I've been in touch with, what's his name at the chamber? Is it John? Who
Joe.
trains? Who,
Joe
Joe?
Tent. Yeah.
Yeah, he has the interns at Lamar that he trains at the chamber, and he said that there's a possibility that we could have an intern to assist at our building as well.
Wow. Anything else? All right. So with all of those reports, I'm sure Mr. Baptiste only needs to say thank y'all for doing this job, but we'll ask for
Thank you
the
again,
CEO's report.
I have nothing, sir. I have nothing. These guys are doing my job. Thank you.
You don't have anything to add, Mr. Baptiste? You good?
No, sir.
All right.
The only thing I want to add is, and I think Crystal kind of, Crystal, it should have came from Crystal. We did, George, we did get a call from Robogistics, and Robogistics are looking at hiring more people. I think Crystal, you still online?
I don't think she is.
Oh, okay. But I think she had been in touch with the HR person over there and is making contact with the school district. I think George, they said some machinists or mechanics,
Yeah, they said some machinists, and it's ironic you just asked about that because I was gonna get with Crystal to get that information so that I can get back with Mr. Anderson because I know, he plays a big part in getting those kids out of that CAPE program. So I'll get with Crystal tomorrow and see. I know it's machinists, and I want to say even team might have asked about some painters or something like that. So
right.
We'll try to get numbers on those and make sure that we get those students.
Right. And what George saying with team, you guys remember we helped team out and if you guys haven't been out there, it's a beautiful building. A paint shop. They are gonna use our kids also. So we're working on putting those young people to work. That's all I have.
Oh, that sounds great to me. Put them to work. All right. So let's get into our agenda items. I know we've already covered a few of them, but let's look at agenda item number 1 to discuss for possible consideration approving the terms and conditions to enter into an economic incentive agreement with SIP Services LLC. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir. At the last board meeting, you guys approved a letter of intent from SIP Services. Trying to make sure I have the right one in front of me. Those guys came in here and they based upon the application, they requested about $700,000 from us. They had a project of about 875,000 with the land, the building, and the furniture. They did say in the application that they was going to hire, I think, a total of 31 Port Arthur residents. Their request again was about $700,000 based on the number of the capital investment and the job creation. we are recommending $164,094. And let me say this to the board, you know, it looked like they had $175,000 of their own money into the deal. With if this board approved the incentive, they still would be short of about $500,000. They would have to show that money prior to us moving forward with this thing.
What is their, Floyd, what is their business?
They I think they purchased some land off on West Port Arthur Road, and they're gonna build a fabrication shop, insulation out there, John, something like that. I don't have the letter in front of me.
Yeah, that's correct.
Scaffolds, insulation, labor, paint,
insulating, labor, and painting, maintenance. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you said it was 30 something jobs?
They proposed 31 jobs with an average wage of $49,000, $49,786 based on our deal. And we asking them to if you look at the fact sheet that we gave you guys, we asking them to produce $2,566,000 in payroll put off the resident over a 3-year contract.
Okay, any other questions about this item? May I have a motion, please?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the economic incentive agreement with SIP Services LLC. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 2 has been moved to our next meeting. Agenda item number 3, to discuss for possible.
Go ahead. That's right.
Discuss for possible consideration, ratifying the approval of a lease agreement with Parfab Companies for space at 501 Proctor Street. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir. On this agenda, we did put ratify. The principal for Parfab came into the office. They wanted to move in. I think it was December the 1st. I'm not. Is that right, Crystal?
That's right.
I did say the board gonna approve it. So they have moved their furniture in. They are renting, leasing the space on the south end of the building, that whole suite, as Crystal mentioned in her report. So we're asking you guys to ratify the lease agreement that was prepared by our attorney.
Basically, what we just need to give us a head nod here.
Oh, no, we just need to go ahead and ratify it. Otherwise, it would have been approved the lease, but to allow them to go ahead and move in early, we're simply calling it a ratification since they're already in possession of it. So we do ask for the board to approve the lease, to ratify the lease agreement.
Okay, so we need a motion for that. Okay. All right, so we'll entertain a motion to ratify the lease agreement with Parfab Companies.
Make a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we move forward or ratifying. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now, let me ask you a question. Floyd, did Fitz and Shipman rent a space from us?
Yes, sir.
I thought they did. Yeah, I knew they were going to.
Yeah,
Yes.
they rent, I think it was one office space.
Yes.
These guys rent about, I think it was about 600-700 square feet of space.
Oh, right, right.
The whole building is occupied.
That's super.
Agenda item number 5. To discuss for possible consideration, amendment to the Police Academy agreement with Lamar Institute of Technology.
Uh,
Do we take 5 and 6 together?
no, that's two separate agreements. What is that one about, Renata?
Pretty much, that was for the part, number 5 is about the date. So basically we wanted to extend the date on the actual agreement that we have in place. So we wanted to read from January 11th. It's a new one, but we wanted to read from January 11th to December 31st of 2021. So basically it's a new agreement.
Yeah.
So it's a new agreement, but just the dates have changed.
Yeah, I think the last agreement ended December 31st. Is that right, Renata?
That's correct.
And all she's doing is renewing it for one more year.
Yes.
Any questions about that? May I have a motion? Oh,
So moved.
it's been moved in second that we amend the police academy agreement with Lamar Institute Technology. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6, to discuss for possible consideration amendment to the Police Academy Training Program Tuition Assistance Agreement. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir. George, you and Renata, you want to kind of give them an update of what's going on there? And what are we amending this, or what's happening here?
The last time George and I spoke, which was on last Friday, everything in this particular agreement that we have is going to remain the same. Nothing changes because the language that was already there, it's okay.
So we're good.
That one will just be the date as well, right?
Yes, only 2025. Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. The date. On number 6 again, what are you changing?
Basically the date. That's it. So from 2020 to 2021.
Okay. So okay. All right, I understand.
Everybody's good? May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I have a motion. I need a second.
I second it.
It's been moved in second that we move forward with agenda item number 6 to amend the Police Academy Training Tuition Assistance Agreement. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 8, to discuss with possible consideration the renewal of the CDL training agreement with Lamar State College, Port Arthur. Mr.
Yes, sir.
Baptiste.
Again, Renata, I think this is just a date, right? Some dates, right?
Yes, basically it's just the date change.
So we just changed it to the new year.
Yes.
When will that one expire, Renata?
This one expires January 31st of 2021.
Okay.
So this is just renewing our CDL training agreement with Lamar, staying the same way, just getting ready for the next year. Any questions about that?
I think Renata, Mr. Smith had
yes, he did have a couple.
Agenda review. Mr. Smith had asked, because normally when we renew this, we put a dollar value to it. Is that right? And Mr. Smith had asked about a dollar value. How much we're gonna allocate to this agreement? Did you come up with a number?
Pretty much. I know when I had spoken to Mr. Smith, the original number was $120,000, where $60,000 was allocated for the actual enrollment of the program, and the last $60,000 was for the completion of the program. So as of right now, I will say, and I did put in a call to Dr. Stafford. I haven't heard back from him, but I will say that we came out thus far this year about $34,000 for the enrollment portion of the of the program. And as far as the completion part of it, we're right at about 9,000. So now I will tell you, they do have a lot of people that are interested in our CDL program, but because of COVID, I know that this kind of slowed down a lot of things because at one point they did stop classes, and then they kind of put out a call, and then the kids, I'm not gonna say kids, but the students wanted to actually come back in, you know, at their own risk to actually complete the program and take the class.
Okay, Renata, some of it I didn't hear, but is it an increase or is it a decrease
As far as what?
as far as the amount?
No, the amount is still, I'm just still asking for 120,000 for everything to stay the same, unless you choose to.
Okay.
Change it.
Let me ask this. What does it cost for us to send a person to CDL?
If you're getting your class A, you're looking at $2,520. And if you're getting a class
2,000, you're breaking up 2,500 what?
$2,520
That's for class B?
for class A.
Class A?
And then for class B, it's $1,270.
$1,270. That's for class B.
Yes, sir.
And I would say, Commissioner, if we look at and that's 100. I know we pay half and then we pay half again, right, Renata?
Yes, we pay the first half at enrollment and we pay the second half at completion.
Okay. I would say if we would allocate I just look at the number. If we put 40 people through a truck driving, Commissioner Smith, it would cost us approximately $75,000–$80,000.
Okay. Let me ask this. Due to COVID, it was a slowdown. So do we have any monies left from 2020?
Well, if you go back to Rachel's report on the training, if you look at 19, her budget amount, when you look at the 19 budget, and then you go back into their prop. I'll pull it real quick. I'm not sure if I got. Let me look at it. It won't take me long. Let me just find it real quick.
It shows.
Here it is. I have it right here. Job training. If you look at the report that Rachel produced, or the spreadsheet where it shows you the funds for 19 and 20 and 2021 on the job training, we didn't spend $325,000. So that money goes back into your pool. And this year we only budgeted $300,000 because we wasn't spending. So I rather under budget where I could go get you some money than over budget. You know, we try to be as exact as we can because we are doing a lot of training.
Okay.
Yeah. So this year we budgeted $300,000. Last year we budgeted about $500–600. Is that right, Rachel?
Oh, just put it down. Let's see.
I put it away.
I just turned.
Last year we budgeted
$400,000.
$400,000. We didn't spend but $72,000, Commissioner.
Okay.
And so a lot of that money wasn't spent. So when we start the new year, we make a new budget. That old money we don't even look at it anymore because all the money go back into the fund balance.
Gotcha.
And we project what we think we're going to spend this fiscal year.
Okay.
So I would think, you know, Renata saying 25-20 for class A and 12-70. If we allocate $75,000, I think we should have enough money for that project. That answer your question, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Oh.
All right, it's been moved in second that we approve the renewal of the CDL training agreement with Lamar State College, Port Arthur. All in favor?
Yeah.
Opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item number 9, to discuss for possible consideration a youth employment program.
Again, Renata, I think that's your summer, the youth intern program during the summer months.
Correct.
Yes. Are we asking you guys to
Do it again.
do what we did last year if we can?
All right. Any questions about this?
Yeah, the only question I had, Commissioner, was, and I did speak to Renata, I think my biggest concern is with what's going on with the school system, and I think you probably could help us out. How will we get access to those kids?
We don't see all the kids in person, but we see all of the kids because we have Zoom classes every day. So it's not asynchronous, it's synchronous. Kids are required to report to class. So as far as getting information out and getting applications to kids, that's not going to be an issue. And one of the main pushes that we're having at our Cape building is really simply this. The type of job that we're training those young people for, they don't really stop because of COVID. You know, you can't just sit in the office and type on a computer with the type of stuff that we're training in. You have to figure out how to protect yourself and go out and do what's necessary. So we're pushing that real hard. Of course, we're being safe. We're not doing anything that will put anyone in harm's way, but we are trying to help them to understand that life does go on. So as far as this youth employment training program, I believe we'll still have an abundance of applications, and also for the next agenda item as well, we should still have a decent amount of applications.
Very good. And Ms. Smith, you had a question on our agenda review. This is for any Port Arthur resident. They could go to school in Sabine Pass, they could go to school at Fort Nature's Grove, but if they live in Port Arthur, they are eligible for this program.
Okay.
For both of them, is that right, Renata?
That's correct.
All right.
Any
So
other
we
questions about this one?
move forward with Renata beginning the work on the summer intern program.
If there be no more questions, we just need a motion.
I'll so move.
A second.
It's been moved in second that we move forward with our youth employment program. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item number 10, to discuss with possible consideration allocating job training funds for 5 Port Arthur high school graduates to attend a 2-year training program at Lamar State College, Port Arthur.
Again, Commissioner and Chairman, we're just renewing programs that you guys have put in place last year. We're asking you guys again to renew and allow us to start the process.
I have a question on this one though, and I may be just reading too far into it. It says a 2-year training program. I thought we were doing won't we doing associate degrees, or that didn't matter?
That's 2-year training.
It's a 2-year training. It's the associate degree.
I'm sorry?
It is the associate degree.
Okay.
But I guess, they wrote it up as it says the 2-year associate degree program.
But Renard, if it take them 3 years to get their associate, I mean, how that work? Is
Well, from what I'm understanding, Mr. Batiste, you can correct me. If the funding is still available and the kids go over, as long as the money is allocated and is there, they will be able to complete their 2-year associate degree, correct?
Well, I think what we've done on this commission, we allocated X number of dollars for the 2-year.
13.5, I think.
How
Yes.
much is it? 13.
13.5.
That is the limit that we're going to give to that kid.
Okay.
That is the limit. And what we base that 13.5 on is the average cost per semester. So if you divide 13.5 by 4 semester, which is 2 years, it's about $4,000, a little over $4,000 a semester.
So based on the 2-year program, they have to take X amount of hours.
They could take it per semester during the summer. Remember, we reimbursed them based upon dollars. Right. So once they exhaust that dollar is on their own, because a lot of them come to Renata and they want to buy books and all this stuff. We say, if that's what you want to do, but at the end of the semester, in your last semester, if you don't have the money, we can't pay, because we allocate 13.5 for your education for 2 years.
Makes sense.
I think we give them $6,500 a year, right? Yeah, $6,500 a year.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
And we have not had any problem with that, have we, Renata?
No problem at all.
We have not had any problem with that.
There be no more questions. I entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we move forward with allocating those job training funds for the scholarship program with Lamar State College, Port Arthur. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We don't have anything for executive session, do we?
No, I'd scheduled an executive session because I was going to deal with Mr. Bernard in closed session. But we're taking care of the business. You guys have tabled it until we come back with some more information for you guys. So I don't have anything for executive session.
Anything else we need to discuss or say?
No, sir.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I like to wish every one of you guys a Merry Christmas and a safe Christmas.
Thank you. Same to
Oh,
you.
I forgot
Floyd.
this was December.
Same to you, Floyd.
And
staff.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays to
Merry Christmas.
everyone.
And maybe I'll get a vaccine.
Good luck with that.
Mr. Batiste, thank you for the book.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Amen, brother.
All right.
Y'all take care.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
See
you.
y'all January.
All right.
How
Go
y'all?
enjoy the game, George.
Yes, sir.
All right. Later. Bye-bye.
Later.
How y'all?
Good night.